Hey, I'm Dennis from This Side of Anarchy, and welcome to Band, my show where I let you in on my getting to know other independent bands that I support on social media and that support me in return. And we get to know each other a little better by answering 5 questions each. Please hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube or listening on podcast so you can keep up to date and enjoy this episode. Welcome to my show, Band. This is the 9th episode, and we're with an awesome band from Georgetown, Texas, Tough on Fridays.
It's a.
Yeah.
Hello. Thank you, Dennis, so much for having us.
Yeah, all right. I guess just introduce yourselves and what instruments you play and what made you pick up an instrument and any bands you've been in or anything like that.
You want to start over here? I'll go down the line.
Sure.
Yeah,
I'll start. Great.
Yeah, nice.
Cool. My name is Caleigh. I play bass. I sing a little bit every once in a while. I actually picked up the bass in the last band that I was in. We went into the recording studio, and as we put down the bass tracks, I learned how to play, which was super, just like thrown to the wolves. But it was great, and I've been playing ever since. It's been good.
And you're a great bassist.
Thank you.
My name's Caleigh. This is actually the only band I've ever been in. I play lead guitar, rhythm guitar, and some vocals as well. I've been playing guitar since I think I was 7. I don't remember. But it came about because I listened to Blink-182 with my parents.
There you go.
That's cool.
And I'm Chris. I play drums in the band. I've been in lots of different bands in different parts of my life, but mostly drums. But I also write songs and sing, play various instruments in there. But drums have been my primary instrument most of my life. So that's kind of
Cool. And how long have you been playing?
I've been playing drums for like, I don't know, like I lost count, but it's been a long time. It's been like 14 or 15 years or something.
That's cool.
But other instruments kind of trickled in here and there, like guitars, probably like 10
Yeah, I was gonna
years.
say, you play all of them
Yeah.
beautifully, too. It's not fair.
I like all of them a little bit. I dabble in a little bit of everything just
That's
because
cool.
I like playing songs. Yeah, that's my thing.
So, well, how did you guys meet, and how long have you been together? And tell us about how the name came about.
Well, I'll let you start. Well, you are the only one that was in the origination
Oh, me?
of the Tough
Yeah,
on
I
Fridays.
started. I
yeah.
brought everyone together.
Yeah, so I started this band with a good friend of mine. That switches to her, that was Katie. And it was kind of like a singer-songwriter band. The way it started out, we kind of just played a bunch of open mic nights. And then we met Eric, who just happened to be my grandmother's insurance guy. He was super into music, and that's how that happens. And then this band kind of came about. I wasn't there for the band name process. Eric, you were the one that was really
Yeah.
the big part in that.
Okay, so I'll have to pop in.
You're gonna have to
Yeah,
pop
come
in
on
and tell
in.
us how
How's
this happened.
that?
That's fine.
I'm Eric. I'm the manager for Tough on Fridays. It basically happened, the name came about because they were in high school and they pretty much had to stick with gigs on Friday and Saturday nights. They couldn't play during the week because of school.
Right.
So I asked them to ask Katie if they could do a gig on a Thursday night. And for a slot that had opened up. And knowing that Fridays for a senior in high school, kind of a blow-off day, not usually a lot going on for them. They were in there. This would have been like March. And so anyway, Katie said, I don't know, Eric, Fridays can be kind of tough for us. She was being totally sarcastic, which she was a lot. And anyway, I twisted the words around, and that's where the name came from, was Tough on Fridays.
I don't know where I was. Eric was like, "Hey, by the way, this is your band name." And I
Oh, no.
But we did the searches, of course, and nobody else had that name,
Yeah.
so it stuck.
Yeah, it's kind
We
of cool.
came up with a unique band name that sticks,
Yeah.
and it sounds good.
Right. It's got kind of different connotations too. It can either be tough, like I'm tough, Saturday night stuff for fighting. I'm tough on Fridays, or it's tough it's tough on Fridays because the end of the week, or it's got a good possibilities.
And then I think actually we knew Chris before Car. Well,
No,
I
no,
know
no,
you.
no, no,
no, yeah, that's
no,
right.
no.
Hey.
I mean, like as a like playing, you know what I mean.
Chris
I
entered
was always
the
there.
band before I did.
I was just there on your thoughts.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Chris was in the band prior to Carly, but I've known Carly longer, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So actually, I was in a band. Can I tell the story? Am I allowed to tell the story?
Yes, go ahead.
I was in a band in Georgetown as well, and our lead singer ended up getting married to Katie, who was the old lead singer of Stuff on Fridays, and then we just kind of flipped, and I came over here, and Katie
No
is
swap
with
hands
them
card.
now. It was good.
We ended up with a better trade.
Oh no. That was a good one. It was good.
Yeah. Oh, and then Chris.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's cool is these two work together and have been working together since.
September of 2018.
There you go. So yeah, kind of just small world. Everybody kind of just like walked into auditions. And we were like, hey, I know you. So yeah.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be,
Yeah.
for sure.
Cool, awesome. All right, you guys can ask me your first question, whoever wants to ask.
I'll ask the first question.
Okay.
Did you start playing on an electric or an acoustic guitar? Do you play guitar? That's my first question. Do you play guitar?
Yes, I do.
Great. Did you start playing on an electric or an acoustic?
I started on an acoustic,
Very cool.
and it was I rented that one because my parents didn't think I would stick with it because I gave up on the saxophone like 6 months before, so that's why. And I don't even remember if the acoustic, I actually rented it to bought it, or I bought another guitar or what, but I kind of started on the acoustic and went to the electric, fairly soon.
Do you use any effect pedals when you play?
I used to, but I don't use too many effects right now. Once in a while, I'll use wah-wah pedal or
Ooh, nice.
or echo, but not usually. Because the first 10 years, I used a lot of effects, and then it just kind of got to be felt like I was relying on the effects to like improve the sound, So I kind of thought of more eventually that the simpler the better, Sometimes you can get it's more challenging, like even on a 5-piece drum kit, it's harder to get it's more challenging to get decent rolls and stuff on that instead of when you have 25 million drums, you're like, just like, it takes a little more talent to like do that. So I kind of gave up on the effects and doing too much lead because I was just doing all that.
Is there really such a thing?
And sometimes, the Eddie Van Halen thing, it just got old for me.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you remember which was your first pedal when you were buying them all the time?
Not really, but I'm guessing it was probably just that orange Boss distortion.
Ooh.
I still have them out there. Because I think my first real amp was this little Yamaha 7-watt thing. Because I was in after I graduated high school, I went in the Air Force, and I went to tech school, and then, of course, you couldn't have a big amp in tech school, so I just had my little practice amp to like do that, and then
Wow.
and that was that.
We learned a lot.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Not bad.
That's all for my first question.
Okay, now it's your question. My question for you. So how long have you had this lineup again? I don't remember if you told me or not.
That's actually a really good question because I don't remember.
This line.
It's been a couple months now, right?
It's been a
Yeah.
few months. I'd say 5 of the 3 of us.
No way.
No.
3,
No,
Less?
right?
Tilly left. Chris has been with us longer than Carly,
Mhm.
because Chris
Okay.
was on the album back in January.
Carly is cool.
That hurt my feelings.
Wow.
I will not argue with that.
Well, there was a recent post.
Otherwise, I'll set myself up for a failure.
Whoa, whoa. I love them both equally.
Uh-huh.
Well,
So there was a post about a year ago. You had a turning point, a new lineup, and it didn't go as planned, and you learned. And so, what was that all about? So, what was the big change?
We're talking about Katie leaving.
So Katie left over a year ago, and we had a couple lead vocalists come in to audition. We were looking for lead vocals and bass, like in one person.
Mm-hmm.
But we were happy with what we had at the time. We had Caleigh on bass and Sid as our lead vocalist. She's a student at School Rock.
She is.
Oh, that's really cool. That's right. I forgot about that. But yeah, that fell through because Sid was younger and she was dealing with a lot of stuff in school. So she made a different decision, and then we had me, Kelly, and Chris. And that was a fun time.
those were the days.
Oh my god.
Remember Dallas? Oh my god.
Oh man. But yeah, we had me on vocals. We just decided I was already doing backup vocals at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I just decided to do the whole thing, or try as best I could. And Kelly did awesome on bass. She recently left 2 or 3 months ago. When was it? No, she left in June. Oh my god. Okay.
See, I told y'all.
Yeah. So Kelly left in June for Tennessee. She was going to school. And she's now got her own business, No Vacancy Bookings. Shout out to them. And that brings us here, right? To the current lineup, which is Carly on bass, me on vocals and guitar, and Chris on drums. I actually have a question that's not on the paper. What genre of music do you play, Dennis?
It's usually categorized as hardcore punk.
Ooh, nice.
I like that.
That's our stuff right there. Who's your inspirations?
My first inspirations was Circle Jerks and Dead Kennedys, Black Flag.
Nice.
Those are like the main ones that really started me getting into
Oh
punk.
no.
Guys.
Yeah, I was really into metal before that. And, AC/DC, Black Sabbath, and then got into Metallica and Anthrax, and
Good bands.
slowly got into Iron Maiden
Nice.
and all those kind of bands, and then slowly got angrier and angrier, and the punk,
That's how it goes.
As a
the punk was a nice fit. So I've been doing it since '88.
Where was your first live gig, and what is your dream venue to play in?
Well, I really can't remember where my first live gig was. I was in the Air Force in South Dakota, and found a band over there. They were still in high school. I was 19, and they were like 15 or 16, and we just started playing and started getting gigs. And I don't remember whether it was a school function or just some. I have no idea how we got the first gig, but doing that for the 3 years while I was over there, and I played all over North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Wyoming, Colorado, Iowa area, and that was a fun time. We had a booking agent, and they booked us all over.
Very impressive.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. My dream venue. Well, I really don't have a dream venue. I mean, in LA, in Hollywood, I've played Whiskey and Cold Lingerie, Gilman Street in Berkeley. I'm pretty much satisfied with all those.
I would be too.
And the only one that would come to mind is the Hammersmith Odeon in London, because I like the Motorhead album.
Yeah,
Live in Hammersmith.
that's some awesome accomplishments you got there.
Yeah, I mean, for a while in the 90s, I was in 3 bands at the same time, so we were playing all over the place.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was insane. I mean, with the daytime job, so I was busy. Work, practice, play, work, practice, play.
How did the parents feel about it and the family?
Well, they're in Ohio, so they don't really.
Okay.
So that I moved 2,500 miles away, so I didn't have to deal with that.
Way to go, Dennis.
So, like, I'm on my own.
All right, cool. That was my second question.
So how do you guys write your music? Is it more of a collaboration, or does one person come up with a song and say, okay, this is how I want to play it? Or, a lot of bands have different ways of doing it. And
Right.
when I was in the band, we just pretty much collaborated in most of it.
Yeah. I guess we really haven't come to that part yet. I know that, all of us write, so
Mhm.
in the future, it's definitely going to be a collaboration for sure.
Mhm.
But in the past, I was more of the writer, and I think a good chunk of the songs that are out right now are mine. There's a couple that belong to Katie, and one of them belongs to Caleigh. Heck yeah. Caleigh Kapowski. But yeah, in the future though, it's gonna be a collaboration for sure. Right?
Yes, it is. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Making sure.
Yeah, because for the most part, we would always just be practicing, and somebody would just come up with something, and I'm like, hey, I like that, and then we just like, oh, I like that too, and then he
Come up with, yeah.
And then
And then
that would
there's-
happen.
when we had a singer, he would come up with the lyrics, or when we didn't have a singer, and then we decided, we went through like 2 or 3 singers, and then we're like, all right, we couldn't find anybody that really fit, so we just kind of, whoever could sing the song, sang it, and write it, So I still really can't sing and play that well, but
It's definitely a learning process that comes
right.
with
There's certain songs I can sing and certain songs I can't while I'm playing. Okay, obviously you do have a manager. So how's that working out? And are you searching for a label? Do you release everything yourself, or are you on your own label, or how's that working?
So we, well, I guess, Eric, you can answer all those questions. Those are more you.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I was gonna answer it, but I'm sure I would answer it incorrectly. I'm with BMI. I know that.
Yeah, I've been managing them now for 3-4 years. They'd have to be the ones to say how it's working out. I'm not really in a position to say that. We've been releasing everything DIY. If an opportunity came about for a label, we have gotten a couple of looks. So we've evaluated the offers, and they just weren't right for us at that point in time. But that doesn't mean we're automatically turning them all down. There's certain advantages that a label could give us that are very difficult to get DIY.
Right.
So that's kind of where that sits.
So, where did you grow up, and what influences from that place impacted you?
Well, my wife would probably say I haven't grown up yet, so I'm still in the process of growing up. But no, I grew up for the first 18 years in Central Ohio, and the influences, my dad was really into music, and he would always be playing. He never played an instrument, but he was always had music in the house, and just it was there. And my mom listened to the radio all the time, and probably the Beatles and Elvis and whatever the pop was in the '60s, and the kids at school in sixth, eighth grade, he kind of brought music in and stuff, and Led Zeppelin and one guy came in with an acoustic and played for the class one time, and that was really cool. And then and the kid next door, he played guitar too, and he was kind of into Elvis. We were listening to Elvis, Elton John, Edgar Winter, David Bowie, David Essex, Uriah Heep, and stuff like that. And all that stuff kind of influenced me. And it was just outside of Columbus, so it was a little smaller town. So I just wanted to get out of there. So I went in the Air Force.
Very cool.
See the world.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay. So you do have a lot of releases. So you have a lot of singles, and you have a few albums, right? So why don't you tell me about all those?
Oh, a lot of the earlier ones, I obviously do not like to listen to.
Mm.
No
I
way.
love them. Oh my gosh, I love them so much. What are you talking
Well, they're like, to me, it's more like amateur writing, because I wrote a chunk of those, quite a few.
Told about Little Italy. Get that away.
I actually was not going to talk about that. I totally forgot about that one. But I was kind of referring to like the Retrospect, Lush. I actually enjoy Lush though. That was a little beyond my time.
Bop and a half.
You're ahead of your time.
I was like, wow, I enjoy this. But yeah, Eric, how did we release those? It came out like
Are we talking about the super early ones?
yes, Eric had a method to his madness, and at the time, Kay and I really didn't understand what the hell he was doing. Until one day he explained it, and I was like, that makes sense.
So if we're talking, well, the super early ones, we just dropped them. We just released them as they came. And we were recording singles at that point. So that would have been Little Italy. That would have been Retrospect. Those two.
Yeah.
The next three were Wind, Let Down, Waywards. And they tend to record really fast, believe it or not. And I'm not a big fan of tons of overdubs. I always had kind of a philosophy producing that I wanted them to sound live like
Right.
in the studio. I hate
Yeah.
bands that can't reproduce their sound live.
Yeah, that's me too.
Yeah. So what we would record them live and do vocals, and then a couple of the songs they went to producers that I knew. Tim Palmer, who had worked with Tears for Fears.
Yeah.
Tears for Fears, he mixed 10 by Pearl Jam. He mixed Lush, and he's the credited producer with Lush.
Mm-hmm.
The next three were Sam Pura, who was at Panda Studios in Fremont, California. And I was basically listed as co-producer because they would be sending me tracks in the middle of the night. Listen to this. Is this where we want to go? Blah, 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 blah. I remember.
Yachts, right?
Who did Yachts? No, Bo Burchell with
go.
Seosin, Triple Eight, who had produced Seosin and Triple Eight out of LA. He did Yachts. My son actually did a cello track on Yachts. It's in the second verse coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And he was really easy. And that was at Christmas time. So we were talking late at night so he could have family time. Sam, I never will forget, he said, is this like all tracks? Because we were so minimal. We had drums, guitar, bass, and vocals, and hardly any overdubs.
Right.
So as far as the newer stuff that we've been doing, been using a technique, it's pretty well known, called waterfall. Because of this focus on singles with Spotify, and that you only can put out one track for their curators and the algorithm really to pick up on, I would drop a single, and then I would the next release, for example, I would bundle that single with the original single that had been dropped using the same coding, same UPC, ISRC codes. So it would pick up all the streams and would continue rolling forward. It would waterfall. The Chainsmokers were really big on doing that with a lot of their singles releases. And so by the time you get to Self-Diagnosis, all those streams had rolled up into that one recording. And so when Self-Diagnosis came out, it already had like 20,000 streams, 30,000 streams or something on it, because it had picked up all the streams from the prior releases. And we've kind of continued doing that. We did something a little different this time. Some of the songs that Caleigh had written were super short. They're punk rock songs, kind of,
Right.
2 minutes, 30 seconds. And I felt at the time as producer that was going to be really tough to just put that up there. There was a single. I didn't think it would get a fair shake, so I would bundle it with a longer track, and that's what we did this next go round. That said, with a double release, you can only promote one at a time through Spotify. You're stuck.
Right.
So, there are more songs coming, but if we had bundled them with the album, we would have had to pick one to market, and you would have lost everything else on the other track, which is just as good.
Right.
Really good tracks coming out, and they'll be coming out start at the end of this year and early into next year.
Oh, I thought you were going to give an actual date.
Yeah. So that's basically how the releases have worked.
That's cool.
We tend to record once a year. Everything that they did, we've released this year, we recorded back in January. So even before pre-COVID, we've had new stuff to drop all year long. We've actually been in a great spot compared to a lot of other bands that have been unable to get together, because we had all our recording done and mastered before COVID ever hit.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Good.
So how's the recording process for the band members? I mean, how do you find
Insanity.
the actual recording process? Is it easy, or is it kind of different or difficult, or what was your first experience like?
Oh yeah.
So prior to A Fantastic Way to Kill Some Time, which is what was just released, we as in like me, Katie, and our drummer at the time, who was Mark, they've all played on Self-Diagnosis. That was a very, from my perspective, that was a rough recording, because we went in with no idea what we were doing. We just weren't prepared. Nobody knew how to play what. It was just amateur hour. We didn't know what we were doing. But whenever we came in January, like Chris came in and the kit was already set up, and Kelly came in, and we just got it done. And it was so quickly, like, Chris, you were in and out of it like super fast.
I didn't want you in there. They were like, get out.
It was a time. It was definitely a grind, but yeah, we recorded like
13 hours.
Like 10 songs, eight
Yeah.
songs.
I think we did 10 songs, right?
We were doing all
Plus
these
the ones
in
that
the
didn't release.
Yeah, it was 10 songs in like 12 hours, was it?
It was actually 13 because I was counting.
13
I think I
hours.
left earlier though,
Did
because
you?
I went back then. I drove home.
Oh yeah,
That's
that's right. Because I thought you were insane.
It's pretty brutal the way that
am insane.
we've been recording all this stuff. I mean, because they record fast. By the same token,
It's like 1 o'clock. Just like, all right, I'm out of here. I'm gonna drive home.
you know, as the recordings have gone along, they've gotten a little bit more complex.
Mhm.
The album was the most complex of the ones that we've released so far.
Mhm.
It was the easiest to get through. Like, as in, like, nobody had any issues with each other, which was so nice. Chris and Kelly weren't about to like throw down in the
I
middle
mean,
of this.
Right. Yeah, sometimes we always got, I want my drums higher, I want my bass higher, and
Oh, yeah.
you're like, I can't hear myself.
We had a great engineer, and he helped. That can make all the difference in the world, because he had done this a billion times, and I had worked with him before, actually on another recording on Lush. He was actually involved with that recording, and so he helped smooth things over. The gear, everything was all set up and in place. We really knew what we wanted to do, kind of, when we went in there.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
More so than
Than
last
the
recording,
prior,
but yeah.
than the prior show.
Right.
And because of that, you have more freedom to be more creative. When you're
Right.
more organized on doing the basic tracks, you can be more creative on the other stuff.
It's true.
Yeah, my first recording was at West Beach Recorders in Hollywood. Brett from Bad Religion, it's his studio, and he's the one that was the mixer on our first
Cool.
record. Was it a band? Well, I was in a band called Society Gone Mad. So, you check it out, societygonemad.com. It's all up there. Okay. So what about shows? You think it's been before the COVID thing? You know, how was shows, and have you played any out of Texas, or have you just played in Texas, or all in Austin, or what?
Pretty much played in Texas for the most part. We were supposed to play in Colorado, I remember, like a year ago. That fell through for unknown reasons. I think it was prior, actually. But yes, it was.
Okay.
I remember. But yeah, we pretty much stayed in Texas, which we actually have plans to go out of state soon, eventually, when this whole COVID thing chills out.
We played some during COVID too that have been super cool, and I can speak for those because those are the only ones that I've been to. So
Oh,
had a great
Carly.
time with those.
The live streams are pretty fun. Like we played oh my god, I don't even remember. Like pre-COVID, I mean during COVID, time just flies, so I can't remember any of the shows we did. We were supposed to do a lot during South by, but obviously that fell through. What have we done?
We played at Roots.
We did play at the.
We did a
what
live
else?
stream. We were supposed to go to Dallas. It got canceled.
That's what I was thinking of. Yes.
Yeah, the Fort Worth show.
Yeah, we were supposed to play in Dallas and that got canceled. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest have been mostly like live streams or.
Yeah. Anything nothing in San Antonio yet?
We have not gotten down to San Antonio.
Yeah.
We've played Dallas. We've
We played San
played.
Dentonio before.
Huh?
We played San Antonio before.
Where?
With Michael and Katie.
Listen, I wasn't
Oh, yes,
there
we
when
did.
it canceled.
We played for a convention. We played for the dental convention, the Texas Dental Convention.
Isn't that weird?
It was a lot of fun. And,
Yeah.
And they loved us. So,
Yeah. That's cool.
and it paid,
She
which
knows
is even
most.
better.
I like this.
Free toothpaste.
So,
They paid really well too.
yeah,
which was-
the dentists pay well. So,
Good.
Believe it or not,
which they should after all we
which is
paid out.
why, yeah, which is why.
Definitely. Definitely.
We played
Yeah,
Dallas, we played
I've
Houston.
spent some time in San Antonio a few times.
Food.
Yeah, got the basic training there, and then went back for some schooling there. And when I was here, one of my friends got married in San Antonio, and then my brother moved to San Antonio, and then he died 12 years ago yesterday. So I went there for the funeral. So that was my last experience in San Antonio.
That's horrible. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right, you're up next. Let's see, we're up to the fourth question.
Okay. If you could change something about your musical path, would you? And if you would, what would it be?
I can't really think of anything I would change. I've pretty much done everything. I've exceeded any of my expectations. I've pretty much done everything I've set out to do, and I mean, all I really wanted to do was play guitar in a band, and that's about it. You know, that's all I ever really expected. I never had any aspirations of really going anywhere or doing anything. I just wanted to play guitar and write some music with some people, and I've done that. So I've gone farther than I ever expected to go. Okay, so I'm guessing the band doesn't do very much to social media, and it's the manager, correct? or is it?
It's collaborative
Yeah.
on the platform, because they're not on Facebook, so that's pretty much the manager does Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram is definitely collab. We
Mhm.
both, Caleigh and I both contribute to Facebook or to Instagram,
The other one.
and Twitter is pretty much me.
Okay. I saw the thing you posted, the story about the Reverb Nation. How do you find that? You were like #1 and
Yeah,
number
we came
7 and 8.
I mean, we're #1 in all genre in the Austin Metro, in Georgetown, #7 and whatever it was, 9, and nationally and globally. I mean, those numbers, they are what they are. They don't mean tons. They just
Yeah.
mean we engage a lot, all right?
Right.
A lot on Reverb Nation. I will say that Reverb Nation's given us a lot, believe it or not, a ton of opportunities that we probably would not have gotten otherwise. Texas Music Cafe came down from Waco and filmed us. That
Awesome
was
dudes.
great guys. They've given us some other opportunities as well, all because of that. We've gotten in with some other, we've gotten quite a bit of radio promo because of that. So I can't say it hasn't been worthwhile. They've opened up some doors for us in that regards. It also has given us a place to go because we're in Georgetown, which is not that far away from Austin, but it's hard to stay in the loop with what's going on in Austin. So I'm the promoter for a lot of their shows, and to put a list together, a group together without being down in Austin and physically knowing where all the bands are, it gives me a resource to go to check out bands and listen to their music and see who would be good fits and that type of thing. I've tried
cool.
platforms and they haven't worked as well.
So is there one that you find works the best, or is it just all kind of has their own little good, advantages and disadvantages?
They've been the one that we've been on for the longest. I've tried Bandzoogle. Everybody wants their own. All of them want their own little piece of the pie.
I know, yeah.
And of course, when you're first in the door, like Reverb Nation was, because they're the only ones I really knew about up front, it makes it that much harder to disengage. And we're super busy. I mean, we've got a lot going on, believe it or not, and to try and maintain another platform, something's got to give. So I've used a lot of them at different points in time, and I'm not gonna poo-poo any of badmouth any of them. I know you like that. I'm not gonna badmouth any of them because they all have everything has their pros and cons.
Yeah.
But Reverb Nation has worked out well for us. Let me put it that way.
That's cool.
Oh, I'll tell you one. Reverb Nation connected us with Texas Indie Fest, which is our first big festival that we played back in 2017, and they've continued to support us with Indie on Air Records. We have been early selections for every one of their festivals during South by Southwest since they first ran across us on there. And so that came out of Reverb Nation.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. So how do you handle some of the stuff on Twitter? Do you like tagging people or hashtags on scheduled tweets? Or how do you know who to follow back, and all that stuff is kind of
Everything's done live. I don't pre-program everything. I don't tag everything, and I don't tag everybody. And we've gotten big. I mean, you know that. I mean,
yeah.
we're up to like 7,500 Twitter followers now.
Mm-hmm.
And we just picked up Strange as Angels just started following us. Who else? There's Veer Union out of Canada, who has 60,000 Spotify followers, just followed us. I didn't even know if they existed, to be honest.
That's cool.
So it's happening, but everything's done live, and we have certain go-to people that we like, and the others, it's not because we don't like them, it's just because it's really tough to stay on top of all of everybody.
Right.
There's so many. And but we don't. I use a few hashtags. I still kind of experiment around with them because the bigger they are, sometimes they don't work as well.
Mm-hmm.
So working on developing some of our own. That's pretty much it.
So excited.
Dennis, where's your favorite place to eat in LA?
That is too hard.
Too hard.
There's so many good places to eat here. It's LA. There's just all kinds of stuff.
Well, if you could only have one for the rest of your life, only place you can go to. Gotta have one.
I've won the rest of my life. This Chinese place in Burbank called Gourmet 88.
Oh,
All right.
I'll see you there.
I was telling them, I was like, it's gotta be tacos. It has to be.
Is that in Chinatown?
Is it 24 hours?
No, it's in Burbank, the one I go to. Yeah, there's another good one in Chinese places all over the place that are good. There's this one though. Played this place on Hollywood Boulevard, Raji's, and we set up and we went to eat, and they had the greatest ginger beef I ever ate. And for some freaking reason, I don't know, I'm like, I didn't remember where it was at. I didn't get a menu. And I don't know where it's at.
So you trended towards Chinese.
Yeah, I would say so, yeah. But I like everything.
Yeah.
But like Mexican, Mediterranean, Indian, Italian, Filipino, Japanese, Korean. I like pretty much a little bit of everything.
now I'm hungry.
Me too.
I would like lunch. Immediately following this.
All right, this was fun. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks so much for
Thank
having us.
you.
So
Dennis.
much.
Yeah, sorry for all
And where can people find you the easiest? I guess if people are watching this that don't know where to find you.
Carly knows.
Oh, that's Tough on Fridays at Tough on Fridays on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube.
Spotify.
Find us on YouTube. Definitely find us on Spotify. Give us some stream.
Did you say Tumblr?
all of our merch is on Bandcamp.
Are we on
Right
Pinterest?
now. We've gone to that for the
Should be.
platform.
Yeah, it should be.
Cool. All right, thanks for doing this.
Thanks,
Yes, thank you
Dennis.
so much.
All right, I'll see you guys later.
Bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.